Hello there, and thanks for joining me on another video. In this video I'm going to show you a really easy way of tapping into one of nature's finest and highly nutritious resources, and that is birch sap, or as some call it, birch water. You only have a short time window in which to do this, and that will depend largely on where you are in the world, the temperatures and the weather conditions in any given year. But generally that is between the second week in March and late April. That is when the birch tree is pumping sap up through its trunk to the forming buds to provide the fuel needed to convert them into leaves for the season ahead. You don't need much in the way of tools or equipment. I'm just about to show you the tools that I like to use, but you can vary your tool choice to suit yourself and your own needs. In fact, let us know in the comments below the tools that you like to use, and even if you want, say why. But here's what I use. Now, first tool, in my opinion, no serious bushcrafter should go into the woods without one, and that is your knife of choice. To bore a hole, my tool of choice is a brace and a bat. You can use any drills. I see some people even use a battery drill, but brace and bat's nice and traditional. Now, the sizing of the brace is crucial, because that needs to be the same as whatever you're going to put into the tree. Now, I use these flexible reusable straws. I modify these slightly. Now, I get a stainless steel straw, and I cut it to about maybe an inch and a quarter, and insert that in the end. Now, that stiffens up this flexible rubber tubing, and it makes it easier to push it into the hole, but it also widens it as well, so it produces a slightly better fit than just using the flexible straw. But you can use whatever you want. Now, the next item you're going to need is some form of vessel to trap the actual sap once you've tapped it. I just use these plastic bottles. They're cheap, they're reusable, and they're easily sealable. You can use whatever you want. The next thing is you need something to attach the whatever vessel you're using onto the tree. Some form of cordage is ideal. I use this stuff here. It's 30-pound breaking strain, so roughly about 15 kilo. The next tool I carry is a folding saw. Now, this isn't so much to do with the actual tapping process itself, it's more to do with the process of sealing the tree afterwards. You use this for cutting the plug that we're going to seal the hole with at the end of the process. You'd never leave the tree with a gaping wound. Next one is an axe. I don't carry my usual big one, just carry this wee light one. I'm not actually using it for any cutting processes. I'm just using the back end of it for actually hitting the plugs into the hole. You can use a bit of wood, or like make an improvised wooden mallet if you want. It's up to you, but as I say, axe is a handy tool to carry with you into the field if you just need it for other purposes. So an axe as well. Now folks, the tools I showed you there are the tools that I choose to use for this particular method of tapping sap. Like I said, you can customise them to suit yourselves and suit your needs, or tools available at your disposal. But like I said, let us know in the comments what you choose to use and why. And also, if you get any questions, feel free to ask. And if you're liking what you're seeing so far and you're getting something out of it, don't forget to hit the like button. It goes a long way to help the channel. Oh, two geese flying by there. They're obviously liking it. But so I'm going to go and find a tree, and we'll show you the tapping process. So stay tuned folks. Cheers. Once you've identified a potential tree that you're wanting to tap, have a look round about it, give an inspection from top to bottom and assess its general health before you go any further. Now, I'll show you a bit later on in the video the kind of things to look out for when you're assessing the general health of a tree, but I say we'll leave that for now. Now before you go any further, there's one final step you do to check the tree's suitability. Take your knife, you present the point of the knife just at an upward angle, and you give it a chap with your hand. Knock it in about 8-10 mil. From that you should see the sap running straight away, and that will tell you whether the tree is suitable for tapping. You also notice on this, I've picked a clear point in the bark. Don't go for this thick scabby bits, go for the smooth clear bits. Give it a wee clean and blow any debris off. Just clean the tip of your knife, present it in at an angle, and you'll notice I've picked this just below chest height. You don't want to go too far up the tree. As I say, I normally go for either comfortable kneeling down position or comfortable standing up position, but the tree tends to dictate the height that you're going to work with. And like I said, present your knife in at an upward angle and give it a hit. See there? Sap on the blade. You should notice it straight away. Give you a wee close up. See that there? That's running straight away from that wound they created with the knife. So this is looking like a suitable tree for the purposes of tapping. So we'll move fast. I like to attach my vessel first so that I'm not wasting any sap, because sometimes when you drill into these trees, it basically flows out like a river, and if you're having to wait another minute or so before you get a bottle ready and tie it on, you're losing a minute and a half of sap running, and that's a bit of a waste. So waste not, want not. So first of all, I just take off several feet, because you need to go around the tree a couple of times and round the bottle of twine. Set that down over here. You get your bottle. I normally leave the lid on it just to save any debris from getting in it. Roughly get the halfway point on your twine, and I wrap round the neck of the bottle. And I normally just secure it with just a couple of wee knots. Don't need anything flash. Now that's the incision I made on the tree. So I'm going to position this just below it by say maybe 4 inch, 3-4 inch. You want to use the same. Hole. There's no point putting extra holes in a tree. And again, just a simple knot, just to hold that in place. Now, that's fine for the purposes of getting the hole drilled and getting the tube in straight away. What I'm going to do after that, as I say, I'll maybe add another lash in here just to keep the bottle sort of steady and secure. Now, next stage you're going to want to work really quickly, so I'll keep the straw in my pocket ready. I'm going to take the bat and put it in the brace. Get that secured in position. And got to, like I said, use the same hole, present the bit in and an upward angle. You always drill in an upward angle, so that, as I say, again it's using gravity to aid you. You see the sap starting to run. And you want to drill in about inch and a half. You see how fast that's running. Just clean the general area of the hole, get the lid off. Get your straw in place. I just manoeuvred the camera down just to show you this dripping. You'll see it, it's dripping really quick. A drop a second, absolute most. So this shouldn't take long to fill up. So you can see how simple the tap my birch tree can be and how fast it can flow. Now, this isn't the only one I've tapped. I've tapped a couple off camera. You don't always put all your eggs in one basket. As I say, sometimes a tree looks as if it's going to be promising. It'll run and then it'll stop. So for that reason, I say I've tapped a few. So if you want to see how they all go, stay tuned to the end and we'll get a wee bit of comparison. But as I say, we'll leave this one just now and then we'll go and have a wee look at how to spot a healthy tree and what you should look out for. Now this is the first example of a tree not to go for. It's quite simple, it's dead. The reason we know this, before even looking at the fact that it's got no canopy, is it's covered in these. Birch polypore. That's decay setting in, so even if a tree has a canopy, if it's got these on it, completely discard it. Don't go with it. This is another good example of a tree that I wouldn't pick for a couple of reasons. Number one, that it's got more than one stem emanating from its base, which means that it would be feeding more than one trunk. So your yield could be low in that situation. I tend to want to pick a single trunk coming from the ground, and you would tap it below the point where the first branch comes off. So you've got multiple stems here, so you're only a loser pretty much straight away. Also, another point is a couple of the trunks that's coming off it are dead, so that's a sign of potential health issues as well. So not a good example, not a healthy tree. Just leave this one and go. Another thing to take into account isn't just the health of the trees themselves, it's actually the health of the ground. It's a good idea to kind of know the history of the ground that you're on. There's a lot in sort of industrial and waste ground sites where birch trees will be one of the first trees to colonise these sites. It's not for no reason that the birch is sometimes known as a pioneer tree. It's quite a robust tree and it'll grow on most types of ground and soil. So if you know that the site has had previous industrial activity, it's maybe a good idea to stay clear of it. Another consideration is the size of the tree. This particular tree here has got a sort of trunk like that. I would say a wee bit on the small side. I normally pick them a little bit bigger. Today I've went for trees with trunks in that sort of size. So they're well established trees, nice and strong. Also another thing is check the bud situation and make sure it's got a healthy amount of buds on it as well. But this particular one, a wee bit on the small side. And also I hope you're enjoying the video so far, and if you're getting something out of it, don't forget, hit the like button. It goes a long way to help the channel. And also leave a comment, ask a question. I'll get to them as soon as possible. So like I said folks, I appreciate the views, the subscriptions, the comments and the likes. So cheers, and we'll carry on with this. Well folks, that's about an hour and a half in. As you see, this is a 500ml, so half a litre bottle, and that's about 2/3 full already. I reckon if I do that the same time again, another hour and a half, 2 hours, this would be overflowing. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be greedy. What I'll do is I'll stop this one and I'll show you the process of plugging the tree. It's important that we plug the tree and stop infection from getting in. But that will not be me finished just there. Remember, I've got the other bottles on other trees dotted through the wood. and I'll show you the results. It's quite interesting to see how different areas of the wood produce different results. Different trees produce different amounts at different speeds, and also even different colours. So stay tuned to the end and you'll see the results. But I want to show you how to plug this. Now, first things first, cut a live branch on a tree that's bigger than the hole that you're going to plug. And what we'll do is take the bark off. Bark contains a lot of dirt and contaminants. You don't want to introduce that into the inside of the tree. So we're going to taper this down. Now that should do. If it's still too big, you can always trim it up. Now the next step, always take your cap off your bottle. That's why I use bottles, because I say you can cap them easily. See, that's still flowing. Take that out. These are, you can clean these out and reuse them. That's better. This is why I brought the axe. That's it in nice and solid. Take the saw and cut it off as flush as possible. Just tidies it up a wee bit. And that tree there, it should heal itself and be safe for many years to come. So I'll take this one down, get it in the bag, and I'll take these back to the other bottles that I've done, and we'll have a look at them and we'll see the results. You'll actually be quite surprised, but bear in mind that was about an hour and a half worth of tapping. This is one of the other 3 trees that I tapped. This was actually the first one, so this has been going the longest. Around about 6 hours. This is a 1.5 litre bottle, so we've got approximately just under a litre in that, which is quite impressive. The colour of it is quite dark, a wee bit darker than the one we got up the wood. I'll leave it going just a wee bit longer, then I'll cut it off. But as I say, stay tuned and we'll go and check the other 2. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. This is actually the second one I tapped. It's just been going for slightly shorter than the other one, so just under 6 hours. Again, 1.5 litre bottle. It's about half full, but you'll notice this is a lot clearer than the previous 2. So compare that to that one there. It's nearly crystal clear. Still going strong. I'll let it go just a wee bit longer, as I say, then I'll cut it off. But distance between these 2 trees is about 15 yards, and you'll notice there's a difference in clarity. But on to the next one. This is the one that I think you're going to be surprised the most. This is the final one out of the 3 that I tapped. Again, another 1.5 litre bottle. It's filled roughly the same as the others, and this time it's absolutely crystal clear. Now, there's a wee shock in this one. I initially tapped this at the same time, roughly as the other 2, so about 6 hours. I've also had that out of it in that time. What you see in this bottle is a product of probably a maximum of 3 hours worth of tapping, and that's still going strong. If I was to leave that for another hour, that would fill that bottle. Pretty impressive, eh? Well folks, just going to look at the fruits of my labour. Roughly about 6 hours worth of work. Well, to be honest with you, it's not 6 hours worth of work, it's literally only a few minutes to tap a tree, hang the bottle on it, and then you can literally go away and do whatever you want to do for the rest of the day, come back, check them. You're only really limited by the amount of vessels that you've got. These three here, like this one here, was running for about 6 hours. They got nearly a litre in that. Again, 6 hours, slightly less, but still nearly a litre. This came from the same tree in about 6 hours. This bottle first, which actually overflowed, so I've lost a wee bit on that, and this here. So that combined, you're looking at nearly 2 litres. And that's the wee one there I done on film. That was only running for around about an hour and a half, under 2 hours anyway. 500ml bottle, over half full. And that just goes to show you what you can achieve with the minimum of tools and a few birch trees. Until next time folks, you take care and slange.